Do we remember how to do this? It's been a month.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking before, like, I hopped in here. I was like, do we even remember, like, how any of this works? I wonder. And I was like, it'll be fine.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Listen In, a music sharing podcast. I am Kay.
I'm Alexis, and I like to use my time wisely.
I'm a very rough draft version of Jesse.
And we'll be your very rough draft host for today, sharing some of our favorite tracks that you probably haven't heard yet, but you will today, now. We haven't recorded in like a month because I'm a problem. So what have you all been listening to for the last while?
Recently, I've been listening to the band The Civil Wars, which for the longest time I had thought was a married couple that had divorced and decided to play together again. Like I just heard that from somewhere and believed it. But then doing a little bit of research found that that was not at all true. But they have broken up as a duo, which is very sad to me because they make some fantastic music. If you're not familiar, they're, I guess, an Americana band, but they bring some very modern takes to it. Like, I'm not sure if they just bass boost the heck out of an acoustic baritone guitar or if they overlay bass with their guitar stuff, but like it sounds chunky and it hits really hard, but they still maintain that sort of core of what that folk music style is, and I really love it.
I'm not sure where you got that misinformation, but I'm going to be taking that as my headcanon for the Civil Wars now. I think it really makes sense with the name.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it's a good story. But kind of funny that you mention Americana band because that's what I've been listening to. The band that I've been listening to is a band called The Crane Wives. Recently, I have made a friend online, and we kind of started bonding over listening to music at the same time. It was like a spontaneous thing. We were listening to the same thing at the same time. And then we were just kind of like sharing our in the moment responses to the songs. And then we kind of just made it a thing where like, hey, let's do this again. Let's kind of have like this like little spontaneous listening party thing.
So like our podcast, but not our
yeah, in a way. And recently they approached me with an album that they want to introduce to me, and it was this album called Foxlore by the Crane Wives. Good music. It's very folk and bluesy at the same time. Yeah, I've just really been enjoying it. A lot of vocal harmony. So yeah, thank you for introducing this album to me. You Know Who You Are. If that sounds interesting to you, check them out.
I like the "you know who you are." It sounds kind of threatening.
You know.
We have a bit of a
you know who you are.
We have a bit of like a rivalry between us, so like a rival sort of dynamic. So I think it's fitting.
I don't really remember the past month, but I do remember finishing up some discography listens, my friend Mal and I, and actually shout out to Mal. He's the one who reminded me of Hints AO for that episode. I was like, I don't know what to bring before I cook, because he also likes I Cook, and recommended that. I forgot to give him a shout out in that episode, so it seems like the appropriate moment. But Mal and I will sometimes do like a group listen to an entire K-pop group or artist's discography. But it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. At the start of the month, we finished up Lovelies, a K-pop group that just disbanded, a girl group. We just started last week Akmu, which is a sibling duo, if you aren't familiar with them, and they're really, really great, hugely popular, and definitely worth a listen.
I feel kind of left out. I'm the only one without a music listening side piece going on.
Aww.
If anybody wants to be Jesse's music listening side piece, we'll open applications on all of our social media.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not required that you have to be a seafaring creature.
That does help, though.
It does.
Will influence the process.
I like seafaring creature. Like I'm just imagining a bunch of octopus on a boat somewhere.
Yes. Perfect. Anyways, Alexis, you're up first.
All right. Today we're going to be talking about an artist named Obongjayar, who I feel if we were to kind of define, what this artist is about, I think it's authenticity. I mean, when he was asked to define the kind of artist he is, he said, I'm not a rapper. I'm not an MC. I'm not a singer. I'm not a poet. And then he pauses and he lets out a delighted chuckle. This is just one sick guy, he says with a bright smile on his face. Obongjayar was born and raised in Nigeria. He's had music in his heart for a long time, remembering a time when he was 6 and waking up from a dream that he would be a musician. But as he told people about this dream, it only drew laughter from the people around him, and this made him feel like it wasn't a tangible thing. At a young age, his mother fled from the country and moved to the UK and entrusted him into the care of his grandmother, and it was during this time where he developed his musical tastes as well as his musicianship. Then at the age of 17, he moved to the UK himself and immediately went into college and was having a bit of a era of self-discovery, both personal and creative, which led him down a path to not just make discoveries about, his musicianship, but also where he would call home. It seems to me that this desire to develop your identity and growth and finding and building your home are the major driving forces behind Obongjayar's life, both creatively and personally. Today, we'll be giving a listen to the song Still Sun from his 2020 EP, Which Way is Forward. Enjoy.
Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. I know who I am. This is not the end. I know who I am. This is not the end. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of anything. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Some days up, some days wrong. Some days feel like everything is going wrong. I've got to be strong. Strong like mom. Strong like remember those days when you used to sleep in church. Days you cried for me. Days you cried to sleep. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. I know who I am. This is not the end. I know who I am. This is not the end. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of anything. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Man, I'm up, I'm working. Man, I know my purpose. Man, I know my time will come, I'm certain. Man, I come from nothing. Man, I come from hurting. Man, I know that pain don't last, it's surface. Enemies of progress, they want me to fall. You can break my body, you won't break my heart. Don't rush the process, wait for your turn. It no matter what this wicked war throw my way, I know I'm sun. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. I know who I am. This is not the end. I know who I am. This is not the end. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of anything. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. Up like sun, down like sun, still sun. up like sun, down like sun, still sun.
I am feeling kind of glad that we've taken such a long time to do this again, because I was listening to Obongjayar a ton, leading up to this episode before we kind of took a break. And I remember feeling like, man, like this guy's music is kind of just like really a part of my life. And then I kind of stopped when we took that break, and getting to reconnect with his music, it is like revitalizing me. It is reintroducing me to why I love this music and this artist. I am having a great time. How are you all feeling?
I really enjoyed it. We've discussed off podcast a bit how we both really enjoy the Gorillaz, and I was definitely getting some major Gorillaz vibes in terms of production and rhythm, and that like Afrobeat sort of thing going on reminded me of the Gorillaz a lot.
It just made me so happy. Like, I don't know what I was expecting going into it, but it was just like such a nice, bright, like, no matter what's going on, I'm still me and I'm still gonna do my best sort of thing. And it just made me really happy. And I think I needed that today. So thank you. Do you think it's interesting you mentioned the Gorillaz, because I've never met a Gorillaz song that I liked? So, which isn't to say like I haven't done, I have not done a deep dive on the Gorillaz at all. So like likely all the things I've heard are the biggest popular hits. And I just haven't been able to get into them, but I really, really enjoyed this. So it's not as a whole, there is something in particular, but I'm not sure what it is.
Okay. I can accept that.
Maybe that's the next deep dive with you and Mal. It's Gorillaz.
That would be a huge departure from our usual K-pop girl group or soloists, but maybe.
Maybe. I get that feeling that you're feeling, Kay. That feeling of like positivity, like how it makes you feel like, everything's good, everything will be fine. And that's actually like a really big thing with Obongjayar in general. I remember him speaking out about that with his music. He says, for me, it's necessary that you have to have a message. You have to be saying something positive, something that can uplift someone or help someone or tell a story. So he definitely like puts a lot of effort, and it's like a very conscious thing for him to, make music that can provide that kind of impact when you listen to it.
One of the first things that I sort of thought was, it reminded me a lot of Bobby McFerrin, like the No Worry, Be Happy guy, especially with those like ooh parts at the beginning. I think that also taps into the whole like makes you feel good sort of music.
And I think like the summery horns too, it made me want to put it like on a playlist with Mr. Wives' Super Bloom.
Oh yeah.
It had like that kind of bright, sort of summery, but you can almost listen to it all year sort of energy.
Also, I felt like the sort of looping quality it had went really well with the lyrics. That like you are repeating the lyrics, but like the lyrics are supposed to talk about this sort of cycle of like up like sun, down like sun, the progression of days and things. I thought that steady looping quality where he gradually increased the number of layers and instrumental stuff going on in the background was really, really cool.
Yeah. I think that whole like symbolism of progression we're hearing from the music itself with the looping and the various like layering and things like that. But yeah, I think this song, is not just a reflection of the idea of progression and enduring in a universal sense, but I do see a lot of connections with like his own personal journey, going to college at a very young age, falling into the wrong crowd and, just being like, this is just who I am, but then rebelling against it, eventually finding a path that leads him to like his most authentic self. I see a lot of that in the lyrics.
You all have broken me a little bit. So when I heard this and looked at the lyrics, I was hearing it as the sun rises and sets, and just like the sun goes up and down, like so do people. Some people have up times, some people have down days, but there's going to be up again. And also still sun, like you are still the sun. You are still the center of your world, and you still matter even on those down days, even when you're down and like you can't see you in the sky like sun. You know, that's not how the sun works, but we know what it means, right? So then when Jesse mentioned the progression of days, I was like, oh my God, I'm a little broken.
I like your interpretation too. I think it works both ways. Porque no los dos.
I think it is both. I think it's like a sun pun.
Sun pun.
I also want to give a quick shout out to his voice, which I just really enjoyed listening to.
I love the textures that he was using, and like very intentional use of texture and different ways of using his voice. And like the falsetto was so clean on top and like floaty and high, and then he has that like gritty, raspy distortion with the verses and the bridge. I really loved the bridge. It was very reggae for me, especially with those echoes on like progress, body. Like that was very, very cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love his voice. He had a bit of a crisis with that as well. He felt like he was a fraud at one point. He was like, I'm lying to the audience because I've never been to America. How do I have an American accent? You know, when he was kind of starting out and trying to like make it big, he was realizing that the only accent he could sing in was his, you know, true Nigerian one. And he felt like, you know, this was a sign you should be who you are rather than try to be something else.
He is still the sun.
I wanted to share something that Obongjayar recently shared. He says, you get to a point in life or your career where you feel like you got a voice, like you got something to say, and then you hone that voice. You start to understand what that voice is and how it works. Then you listen to the record. It's a lot more personal than everything I'd done before. It's a lot more emotionally charged. The foundation of what this record is about is time. This is the overall general theme with his debut album that's probably out by now, depending on when you listen to this. It's called Some Nights I Dream of Doors.
Awesome. Jesse, where are you taking us?
I'm taking us in a fairly different direction. The artists I'm sharing today, Fleming and John, are a musical husband and wife team made up of Fleming McWilliams and John Painter. The couple met while attending Belmont College in Nashville, and while pursuing his own career, Painter played in studio sessions for artists like Sixpence None the Richer, Indigo Girls, and Jewel. And after releasing their first album, Delusions of Grandeur, in 1995, Ben Folds called them the Carpenters of the 1990s with Led Zeppelin's rhythm section, and invited them to open for his band, and they continued to tour with him for many years. Their second album, The Way We Are, released in 1999 and had a minor hit, Ugly Girl. The band has been semi-active since then, but have not made any major recordings recently. I encountered this band on the Best of College Acapella 2004 album. I was a major choir geek back in high school. Not very surprising to most people who know me. And I discovered this song, Saturday, which was covered. And both the original and the acapella versions are really good. Really enjoy them. And this song has remained one of my favorite all-time songs since then. Normally, I would stay away from giving commentary too much in my intros, but I really love the lyrics for this song quite a bit. They're some of my favorite lyrics in any song ever. So let's give them a listen. Fleming John, Saturday. on retrospect, maybe I didn't give you guys enough introduction to like how it would sound. It's just like, this is just a song that I really love. Hear it.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like going in with no expectations.
Good. Because that's what I did. But yeah, what'd you think about it?
Honestly, I was halfway into my second listen when I looked at my streaming service and was seeing the details of the song, and it said that it came out in 1999, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Okay, what's more is that this was done in a home studio in 1999. So, and like, just think about, I think Fruity Loops came out in like 97, but that was like basically just a drum machine with like a couple tracks on it.
Yeah.
Like nothing close to what people have now in terms of
Right.
software, and they did it at home. Just, I can't imagine the machinations of how you would put this sort of thing together, because there's so much going on.
Yeah, my mind is like kind of melting right now, because like you could have told me this came out like 6 years ago and I wouldn't have bat an eye. I would have been like, yeah, sounds about right. I was at the delicate age of 9 at the time, and this would have just sounded like the future to me. This doesn't feel like 1999 at all.
It's both the future and the past though.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely drawing on some like disco stuff. It's got like vocoder in there, which was, you know, more popular in the 80s, and but it's also got like theremin, I'm pretty sure. There's a ton going on. The only thing I can kind of think of in the same era as this band is maybe like Jamiroquai, with like that sort of disco sound. But yeah, time wise, quite an interesting place to plunk the sound down in.
Yeah. This is something I would expect someone making right now. The intent behind it didn't feel like it matches the music that existed that came out around that era as well. Like, it feels like it doesn't match, but it's so cool that it does.
I won't pretend to know anything about the music that was releasing in 1999. I just wanted to point out what I do associate maybe more with music of the 90s, and that's the pew pew laser sounds. Just throughout this entire thing. They were cracking me up. Like, I recognize that this is a sad song, but for some reason that sound, just like, I lose it when I hear it. I start going pew 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 pew. But it was so fun, and there was so much going on. We had those, again, like bright summery horns happening, which was just a great time. And yeah, if you look at the lyrics, it's sort of nostalgic happy in a way, but it's not really a happy song, but it definitely felt like it.
I definitely get what you're feeling. For me, like, because I know this song so well, like even that, like at the beginning, that ramp up dum 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 gives me butterflies every time I hear it. The lyrics, the reason I like them so much is that they're so like image based and specific, and they say so much about the person that they're talking about in the lyrics. Like even just the first couple lines, like, you like to eat your grits with butter, salt, and sugar. You drink your coffee instant and black. I always loved the fact, but thought that it was so peculiar how you carried everything you owned in the backseat of your 1983 Canary Yellow Z. And it all rhymes, but like, even if it didn't rhyme, that would be like a perfectly normal flowing sentence with all those details. And I think that's like so like chef kiss. Amazing.
But they did such a great job of getting like a pop chorus in there. A good choice.
Yeah, definitely. And the chorus changes the emotional content of it, right? Without that sadder day message, you would think it's just like, oh, talking about this person that you like.
I feel like it would have been a big misfortune for me if I had listened to this in 1999, because I was not the brightest child, and I would have been listening to this and thinking like, oh, I love this song. It's and I want to find it on the internet, and I'll be looking for a song called Saturday, not realizing it's Saturday. And I would have been so disappointed.
Give yourself more credit as a child, though, Alexis.
Yeah, I gotta give young Alexis a little bit more credit. These lyrics, though, like, I absolutely love them too, and I appreciate you like wanting us to put a little bit of focus on it, because when I was first listening to the song and I had the lyrics up, the very first few lines, like, you like to eat your grits with butter, salt, and sugar, the first thing that came into my mind was just Kay just screaming at the top of her lungs, I got the special recipe. And then I was like, all right, no, go away, Kay. I need to think about this. And then I was thinking, like, this is kind of setting up a pretty wholesome story. And then you get to the second verse, and then you get to the bridge, and I was like, oh, I was not ready for this emotional journey. Really appreciate the writing in the lyrics, because it really hits home. It impacts you when you get to those big lines at the end of the second verse and also the bridge. It's a great song.
Yeah, as I was following along with the lyrics and we got to the bridge, and then I thought, oh, like, there's only one chorus left. The song's almost over. And it's like 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the 5-minute song or something like that. What are they going to do? And then those hand drums came in, and suddenly we were just grooving.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. I really just enjoyed the chance to groove at the end of this sad but boppy song.
Yeah, definitely. Feeling the same. Fleming and John, they're not super active anymore. They're kind of doing the family thing. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. What you got for us, Kay?
I have an artist who I don't actually have a lot of information about. Sarah Winston, also known as Winston, is a singer-songwriter, guitarist, and artist based, I think, in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. I really went searching as best I could to find more information about her, but even her Spotify bio is just, hi, you're cute, TTYL. I can say that I've messaged with her on Instagram a little bit, and I actually may have gotten on her nerves a little bit because I was super excited to bring this song, so I'm sorry, Winston, if you're listening, for like overloading you with information. I'm known to do that. She's been super, super duper sweet and friendly. We'll listen to her debut single, Peach Crush, from July 2019. I think I've talked before about, maybe I haven't, about how Spotify will sometimes grab a single from a lesser known artist and seems to just throw it in a ton of people's Discover Weeklies, which I appreciate greatly because that's how I found some of my favorite songs. But this is one of those. So it was actually in my Discover Weekly, and I was jamming out to it for a while, and then it got into April, my girlfriend's Discover Weekly, and she just like fell in love with it. So it's a household favorite in our house, and I am super excited for you to hear it. Let's listen to Winston's Peach Crush.
I find you intoxicating. Swear I could get drunk on you. And you got me captivated. When you enter the room, I've got a peach crush. No use trying to hide it, you make me blush. We can take it slow, cause there's no need to rush. Wanna savor every bite of you. I feel like I'm always waiting for the time that I'll see you next. I need to be liberated. I've gotta get this weight off my chest. I've got a peach crush. No use trying to hide it, you make me blush. But we can take it slow, cause there's no need to rush. Wanna savor every bite of you. Got you adrift inside this head of mine. Cause you're everything I hope to find. Ooh, I wanna make you mine. Good things come in time. So I've gotta keep it together. I'm playing it cool, trying to channel the weather. But today we've got a high of 9 and 2. I'm reminded to pace myself, embrace the style. Subtlety is key, but it gets so tricky when it comes to me and you. My peach crush. make me blush. We could take it slow, cause there's no need to rush. Wanna savor every bite of you. I've got a peach crush. No use trying to hide it. You make me blush. We could take it slow, cause there's no need to rush. Wanna savor every bite of you. Every part of you.
What you think? You vibing?
Yeah, definitely vibing. It's so chill.
I'll be honest. The very first thing that came to mind was like, this is probably the most K thing I've heard in a while. Like, I listened to it and I was like, you know, I can hear Kay listening to this for the first time and immediately like putting it into her library. This is definitely a Kay song for sure.
I feel so seen. Maybe that's a bad thing.
I don't know.
I really love the production on this. There were so many like very specific choices that were being made. And it seems like super contemporary because it's somewhere between like lo-fi and new disco and chiptune. But like I'm pretty sure in the first 5 or 10 seconds, there's like the sound of talking in the background, and then like someone puts down some plates. So it makes me think like, oh, maybe they're in a diner or a cafe. And then later on, there's, I think at the bridge is pretty long. It might be 2 bridges.
It's a 2-part bridge for sure.
Yeah. But there's like seagulls, seagull sounds, in addition to like those chiptune keys going on. And then that lo-fi hiss was going on for pretty much the whole thing. But there was this like crunch, this like analog sound crunch that would happen kind of with the beat.
I really love her voice, actually. That's one of my favorite things about Winston's music, is she has this almost jazzy-ish quality to her voice that she uses really, really well.
Kind of like this like bossa nova sort of smoothness to it. And like I really enjoyed her breathy highs. Like she does also have like a lot of different approaches to her vocals. Another really cool thing I think she did with her vocals was at the outro bit where it becomes more auto-tuned and like they start adding effects to her voice, and it kind of like blends together with the instrumentals and becomes just like one of the other instruments. And I thought that was really interesting.
I definitely see myself adding this song into my rotation of daily listening. It's just so fun and so enjoyable, and I'm not surprised that this is a household favorite.
Winston has only released 2 singles since Rice and Intangible, I believe. Rice is super cute. It's about taking yourself out to dinner. Follow her on social media for her next releases, hopefully. I'm crossing my fingers that we get like an EP or a full album or something so I can jam out to more than 3 songs from Winston.
It's a fun song. I think they're all kind of summery songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are. We got some like bright, sunshiny stuff happening today. It's just 80 degrees out here, so that feels appropriate.
It's 80 degrees over here too, and I don't like it.
I live in a place where the seasons are summer and wet summer. So Yes.
We will post the social media for all of the artists featured today in the descriptions on Spotify and YouTube. Go follow the folks that you liked so that you can hear if there's more from them.
Also, this is our 10th episode. We would love to hear some feedback from y'all. Maybe like drop a comment on our Facebook or on one of the YouTube videos about if you had any thoughts or something you particularly like about either our commentary or the music or the choices that we make.
You can tell us you hate us too, especially me in particular. It's fine.
No, me. Hate me the most.
No, hate me the most.
Everybody loves Alexis.
I'm all right.
You can't hate Alexis.
I'm perpetually trapped in 1999.
I don't know what that means, but I think that was an insult to yourself because you just said you weren't very bright.
I'm struggling with homework. I knew the signs were good that this would be a good episode because with my migraine coming in, Jesse's little incident, it really seemed like we were going to have quite a smashing start.
Ha! For those who don't know, Jesse broke all of his Pyrex dishes right before
All
we
of them.
recorded.
All of them at the same time.
I'm very sorry. Rip, if you would like to send Jesse some money to buy new Pyrex dishes. No, I'm just joking.
No.
If you would like to do my homework, I'm just kidding.
If you would like to just take over my life so that I can just lay in bed and edit podcasts all day, you can find our social media in our descriptions.
There you go.
Thanks for listening.
The classic ending is just Jesse going, "Thanks for listening," under his breath. That's like okay, we need to stop, whatever you're doing. Halt, do not proceed.